You know how a TV remote lets you control everything on your screen? Well, your brain has something similar for managing stress, and it plays a big role in how stress affects blood sugar levels. It's called the HPA axis. This is your body's internal remote control that sends out signals when it senses pressure or danger. If you keep pressing the stress button over and over with work, money problems, or family drama, this remote goes into overdrive. And that's when your blood sugar starts going up, even if you haven't eaten much. Stick around till the end, because we've also created a free downloadable PDF filled with stress relief tips, tracking tools, and more just for you. And if this helps, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It could help someone else who's fighting the same battle silently. Let's see how this works. The HPA axis, your body's stress remote control. HPA stands for hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. Don't worry, you don't need to remember the full name. Just think of it as your brain's control system for stress. When you feel stress like getting stuck in traffic, arguing with a loved one, or worrying about unpaid bills, your brain sends a message through the HPA axis. That message tells your body, hey, we might be in danger. The result? Your body starts releasing stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones tell your liver, quick, or release more sugar into the blood. We need energy to fight or run. But in modern life, we're not usually fighting tigers. We're fighting deadlines, debt, or long work hours. And the more this stress remote gets used, the more sugar your body releases, even when you don't need it. This is where the real problem begins for people with diabetes or those trying to avoid it. What happens when the remote gets stuck? Short-term stress is okay. It helps you get through hard moments. But when stress keeps going for days, weeks, or even years, your HPA axis stays turned on like a TV that never switches off. That constant flood of cortisol leads to high blood sugar, hyperglycemia, more insulin resistance. Your cells stop responding to insulin properly. Belly fat buildup, which is linked to higher diabetes risk. And all this, it comes at a cost not just to your health but also your wallet. Think of how expensive diabetes medications, glucose monitors, or even hospital visits can be. Managing your stress now might be the cheapest way to avoid those bills later. So, even if relaxing feels like a luxury, it's actually a smart investment. The other hormone stress brings to the party. You're sleeping peacefully, and suddenly your smoke alarm starts ringing even though there's no fire. That would drive anyone nuts, right? Well, your body has an alarm system too. And when you're stressed, it doesn't just ring the cortisol bell, it pulls in other hormones too. Some of them are glucagon, adrenaline, and growth hormone. Together, they push your blood sugar up like a group of friends crashing your house and raiding your fridge even though no one's actually hungry. Let's look at what these hormones do and why they matter, especially if you're trying to keep your blood sugar and medical bills under control. Glucagon, the sugar unleashed. When stress hits, your body acts like it's preparing for war. One of the first things it does is release glucagon. This hormone tells your liver, release all the sugar you've got. Normally, this is helpful like if you're in danger and need fast energy. But if you're just sitting at your desk worrying about money, your blood sugar still spikes for no reason. The result: higher readings on your glucose monitor even if you didn't eat a bite. Adrenaline, the sugar rocket. Adrenaline, also called epinephrine, is what gives you that heart-pounding, sweaty palm feeling during stress. It's also responsible for a quick sugar dump into your blood so your muscles have instant fuel. Think of it like a turbo button, except your body keeps pressing it when you're only trying to get through traffic or deal with emails, not outrun a lion. If you're using a continuous glucose monitor (CGM), you might see random spikes, especially after emotional moments, tough conversations, or even too much coffee. More on that later. And when these spikes happen often, guess what? You use more medication or more test strips, which again costs more. That's why managing stress saves more than just your nerves, it saves money too. Growth hormone, the slow sneaker. Here's one you might not expect. Growth hormone also increases during stress and sleep loss. It makes the liver release glucose and slows down insulin's work. Now, growth hormone isn't all bad. We need it for healing and muscle repair. But during chronic stress, its effects can worsen insulin resistance, especially in the morning. If you've ever asked, why is my fasting blood sugar high even though I didn't eat anything? Growth hormone could be part of the answer. Too many cooks in the kitchen. When cortisol, adrenaline, glucagon, and growth hormone all jump in at the same time, your blood sugar doesn't stand a chance. It's like 4 people trying to drive one car, it just goes off track. And every blood sugar spike your body has to fight off is one more battle your pancreas, insulin, and wallet didn't need. So managing stress isn't just about calming down, it's about stopping a hormonal sugar storm before it drains your energy and your budget. When stress sparks inflammation, your body's hidden fire. You're stuck in a traffic jam, running late, and someone cuts you off. You're not in the jungle, but your brain still thinks you've just seen a tiger. It sends out a wave of stress hormones to help you survive, but there's no tiger. There's just a long line of honking cars. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Those stress signals don't just raise your blood sugar. They also light tiny fires of inflammation in your body. And when those fires burn every day, they slowly damage how your body handles sugar. Let's break this down in plain language so you can understand what's going on and how to stop it before it costs you your health and your savings. When you're stressed, your body doesn't just release cortisol and adrenaline, it also sends out inflammatory messengers called cytokines. These are like little red flags saying, hey, we might be under attack. In small doses, inflammation is helpful. It heals cuts, fights infections, and repairs damage. But with daily stress, those warning signals never shut off, and that's when they become a problem. This leads to something called chronic inflammation, a fancy word for your immune system being a bit too active, all the time. How does this mess with your blood sugar? Chronic inflammation makes your body more insulin resistant. Your cells stop responding properly to insulin. They're more likely to store extra fat, especially around your belly. Slower to recover from infections, wounds, or sickness. And guess what? That fat and inflammation feed into each other. More fat, more inflammation. More inflammation, harder it is for insulin to work. It's a loop and not a good one. This makes blood sugar harder to control. So even if you're eating well, walking regularly, or trying your best, your numbers may still be high. Inflammation's sneaky expenses. You can't see inflammation like you see a bruise, but it can cost you over time. More doctor visits because your sugar isn't cooperating. Higher doses of medication. Slower healing, longer recovery. Complications like neuropathy or infections, bigger hospital bills. So keeping stress and inflammation down is not just good for your body, it's financially smart. The stress-sugar-inflammation triangle. Think of stress, high blood sugar, and inflammation like 3 friends who always make trouble when they get together. Stress raises your blood sugar. High blood sugar increases inflammation. Inflammation makes you more insulin resistant. And around it goes. The good news, you can break the cycle. With simple steps like movement, better sleep, and calming your mind, we'll go deeper into those in upcoming sections. Well, you can lower inflammation naturally, and that's like turning off the fire alarms one by one. When stress messes with your stomach and your sugar. You've probably noticed it before, maybe before an exam, a big work presentation, or even after an argument, your stomach felt off. Maybe you lost your appetite, or maybe you felt bloated, gassy, or had to run to the bathroom. That's not just in your head, it's happening because your brain and your gut are constantly talking like roommates sharing the same Wi-Fi. And when stress messes with one, it definitely messes with the other. This brain-gut connection is what doctors call the gut-brain axis, and it plays a huge role in blood sugar, digestion, and your overall health. Your gut isn't just for digestion, it's also your second brain. Inside your gut are trillions of bacteria, both good and bad. Together, they make up your gut microbiome, a tiny world that helps digest food, fight infection, balance mood, and yes, help control blood sugar. These bacteria send messages to your brain, and your brain sends messages right back. They work together like a team. When things are balanced, you feel good. But when stress enters the picture, that balance gets shaken up. How stress breaks the balance. When you're constantly stressed, your gut slows down digestion or speeds it up too much. You absorb nutrients poorly. Your stomach lining gets weaker, aka leaky gut. Your good bacteria die off while the bad ones take over. This gut imbalance leads to more inflammation. Remember those fires from before, and worse blood sugar control. It's like your gut is trying to clean your house, but someone keeps breaking windows and spilling trash inside. What this means for blood sugar. When your gut is out of balance, you digest food differently. Sugar enters your bloodstream faster or slower than usual. Insulin works less effectively. Your cravings for carbs and sugar might go up, especially during stress. All this leads to more sugar highs, more crashes, and more frustration even if you're doing everything right. And if this leads to stomach problems too, that means more meds, more doctor visits, maybe even expensive probiotics that don't always work unless the root cause stress is handled. Small fixes that save your gut and your wallet. The good news: you don't need to spend a fortune to fix your gut-brain axis. Here are some simple, budget-friendly steps. Eat more fiber-rich whole foods like veggies, oats, or chia seeds. Even a handful of nuts helps your gut bacteria grow strong. Avoid processed junk foods, they feed the bad bacteria. Get enough sleep. Poor sleep makes your gut more sensitive. Relax before you eat. Try deep breathing before meals. Laugh, walk, or call a friend. All of these reduce stress and help both your brain and gut reset. Even just chewing slowly and eating mindfully can make a big difference, and guess what? It's completely free. Your gut and brain are teammates, not strangers. So next time you're feeling stressed and your stomach is acting weird, don't ignore it. Your body is talking to you. And by taking care of your gut, you're not just avoiding gas or bloating, you're helping your blood sugar stay stable, your mood stay brighter, and your medical expenses stay lower. Win, win, win. When managing diabetes feels like a full-time job. Let's be real for a second. Living with diabetes isn't just about watching what you eat or taking medicine. It's a full-time mental load, and sometimes it just gets exhausting. That constant tracking, testing, checking, worrying, it's like trying to juggle glass balls 24/7. Now, everyday stress is one thing: traffic, deadlines, money, relationships, we all face that. But if you have diabetes, there's a whole other kind of stress on top. It's called diabetes burnout. And it's very real. So what exactly is diabetes burnout? Diabetes burnout happens when you start to feel tired of checking your blood sugar all the time, fed up with food rules, guilty when numbers are bad, frustrated because even when you try hard, things still go wrong, like giving up completely just for a break. This isn't just laziness. It's not a weakness. It's emotional overload, and it happens to people with both type 1 and type 2 diabetes. You're not alone if you've felt this way. How burnout hurts your body and your budget. When burnout sets in, you might skip checks, eat out of frustration, stop exercising, or avoid appointments. At first, it might feel like a relief, finally letting go of all that pressure. But the cost shows up soon. Your blood sugar climbs. You might need more meds. Small issues like fatigue or blurry vision can turn into big, expensive problems. And hospital visits? Those don't come cheap. So ignoring burnout doesn't just affect your health, it hits your wallet too. Taking a break from diabetes might sound free, but it could cost you more than any treatment plan ever would. Signs you're dealing with burnout, not just stress. Here's a quick way to tell the difference. On the left side of this chart, you'll see what most of us experience from time to time: things like feeling overwhelmed occasionally, dealing with short-term frustration, or just having a rough day. With rest, we usually bounce back. But on the right side, it's a different story. Diabetes burnout is when it stops being just a bad day and starts feeling like a heavy, never-ending weight. You may feel hopeless or numb about your diabetes, exhausted by the daily self-care, and even after a break it still feels too much. The stress doesn't come from life in general, it comes from diabetes itself: the checking, the tracking, the pressure to always do things right. If you find yourself nodding more with the right-hand column, this is your gentle reminder to pause, reset, and reach out. You're not alone and you don't have to carry it all by yourself. How to pull yourself out without burning a hole in your pocket. Here's the good news, you don't need therapy bills or fancy programs to bounce back, though they can help, and we'll talk about that later. Start with simple, free tools. Talk to someone, a friend, a fellow diabetic, or an online community. Just saying "I'm tired of this" out loud can be healing. Do one thing only instead of trying to be perfect. Pick one small habit to stick with, like checking sugar once a day or walking for 10 minutes. Celebrate tiny wins. You drank water instead of soda? Amazing, you prepped a healthy meal today? That counts. Give yourself grace. Nobody hits perfect numbers every day. Not even your doctor. You're allowed to be human. And remember, resting is not quitting. Even a phone needs to charge. So do you. Burnout isn't the end, it's a sign you've been strong too long. If you're reading this and thinking, "That's me," know this. You are not failing. You're tired, and that's okay. You're trying, and that's everything. Burnout doesn't mean you don't care. It means you've been caring non-stop. And maybe it's time to ask for help, let go of guilt, and focus on healing your body, your mind, and your finances too. Because managing diabetes is a marathon, not a sprint. And it's okay to take a breath along the way. Understanding the hidden link between stress and blood sugar. So now you've seen how stress doesn't just mess with your mind, it messes with your blood sugar, your sleep, your stomach, your energy, and yes, your wallet too. From hidden hormones like cortisol and adrenaline to silent triggers like inflammation and gut imbalance, but stress can sneak into your diabetes journey in ways you may never have noticed until now. But the good news, you've also seen that small daily actions, even free ones, can break the cycle. A walk, a deep breath, a quiet moment before a meal. These aren't luxuries, they're tools. And when you use them, you're not just lowering your blood sugar. You're taking your power back. Before you go, don't forget to download your free PDF cheat sheet. It's packed with the top takeaways from this video, plus space to track your stress and sugar side by side. You'll find the link right below. It's easy, it's printable, and it's yours because stress management shouldn't come with a price tag. In the next part, we're going even deeper. What happens when stress starts in childhood and how teens with diabetes carry emotional weight they can't explain. How financial stress and poor sleep quietly hijack your blood sugar. And most importantly, when stress is no longer something you can push through, when it's time to get help, and how to do it without shame or guilt. You won't want to miss it, especially if you've ever felt like "I'm doing everything right, but my numbers still won't cooperate." So hit that follow button, bookmark this series, or subscribe, because you're not just watching a video. You're building a better, calmer, more in control version of you. You've come this far and we're just getting started.